today's technique video, I'm going to show you how to do what I call ugly paper, which is how to make paper that's really quite ugly until you cut it with things like this, the trees, or you cut it with leaves or foliage. It can give you a really three-dimensional look to sort of foliage and leaves and trees and things like that, but it's really simple to do. So all I've done here is I've got to cut a piece of card, and because I'm using the Crafts 2 mini machine, I've cut this to 2 3/4 inches, and I've got two colours of green ink. I'm using Fusions to give me that beautiful sort of sheen and shine and allow me to add water to it if I want to, but I've got a light green and a darker green, so I've gone for Holly and Verdant. And all you're going to do is basically make a mess on your piece of card. So I'm just putting down a few random sort of blobs, not neat, not tidy. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the Verdant or the lighter green shade. And you can add other colours into this. If you want it to be slightly more autumnal or realistic, you can add a little bit of red in, which always looks really, really nice and gives a little bit more depth to it. But for something quite fresh, just a couple of greens will do. So I've done the dark green, I've gone over with the light green, and I'm going to take a little bit of the darker green, and I'm just going to sort of almost not blend, but go over the whole piece, just to sort of mush the two together. So just work it in like that. So as you can see, the paper is particularly ugly. If there's any area you think, oh, that's not intense enough, you can add more colour. But basically, you're getting lots of variation and shade in lots of different places, and it is particularly ugly. However, it changes when we come to die cut it. So I'm going to be using JND 332, which are our wonderful sort of winter trees, and I'm going to be using the mini machine. So all I need to do, and I'll just cut a couple for speed in this one because it's a quick technique. I'll just take 3 of these trees, and you put them on the card randomly. Don't try to say, oh, don't try and select areas and go, oh, I like that bit. It really doesn't work that well. Just pop them on randomly on the card, just like that. Now, one of the things you may find is when you're using your tape on just inked card, it won't stick down as well. So just make sure you use plenty of the tape. I'm just going to pop my top plate on and run it through so you can see the difference in the look that you get from this. So get that in the right place and run it through. So as you can see, as it's going through, the paper is not the neatest, it's not the cleanest, and I've missed a little bit of that one there. So I'm just going to pop that one back through. That little end I missed. Okay. But you'll see when you pull your trees out, you get a far more realistic look to them than you would just taking them out and colouring them. So you can see there we've got all those different tones and shades in there. And if you want to give them a little bit more 3D, take the darkest colour ink that you've got, so this occasion the Holly, onto a finger dauber and just hold it in the air and flick around the edges. Don't do it again neatly, just flick around the edges like that. And you can see there, we've got that beautiful mix of the fir trees with lots of different shades and colours on them. So nice and simple to do. This also works fantastically well if you're wanting to do foliage. So I've got another piece here again of ugly paper done in exactly the same colours. I'm using JND 439 eucalyptus leaves. Just cutting those on, and it looks so realistic for leaves. So again, just going to tape those down, add my top plate on and run those through the machine. And it's not paper when you do this that you would actually want to sort of use as a background or anything. So the uglier it is, the better it will work for your leaves, your foliage, your trees and things like that. So we'll just pop one of these out nice and simply. And you'll see here, we've got all those different tones and shades in the leaf and how realistic it looks as compared to just cutting in green. So a fantastic way to get really simple 3D looks for your leaves, for your foliage, even for your flowers and things, just by making ugly paper.